We need to raise the standard and continue to raise the standard from the ground up.
Your past conditioning, your beliefs, you need to dump that and unlearn it and make room and opportunity for new stuff to come in.
If you're feeling that feeling at all within your gut, you need to go with it.
You have to have those people on your team who are willing to accept the change, because change is frustrating. Welcome everyone. We are here for a very special episode of the Apps and Asphalt podcast. This is episode 25. We have Mr. Ryan Austin, CEO of BSI Paving now, formerly Birmingham Seal Coat Inc. You guys just did that rebranding very recently. How's that been going for you guys?
Dude, it's good. It's actually our name's still Birmingham Seal Coat Incorporated, but we took to the liking of the paving. We just started paving 5 years ago. So for those of you that don't know, BSI Paving, formerly known as Birmingham Seal Coat, we did a ton of seal coating and patching and maintenance work about 5 years ago. And we got into the paving and bought a paver, jumped in full head. The first 3 months, we outgrew our paver. And then we bought another paver, and then bought another paver. And then now it's been 5 years, and we're buying our fourth or fifth paver now. We're actually going down to Pennsylvania to pick one up this weekend. So we just got a brand new 385 Weiler B. So we're pretty excited about that. So
those are nice. Those are really nice, man.
Yeah, we ran one of those. Yeah, we ran one for a couple years, didn't we? One of those.
Yeah. We still have one too. So that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
And it takes a long time to get a paver now. I mean, we just got lucky. We were really looking. We sold a couple big jobs because we have a 1055 Cat, and it's a great machine, and we do a lot of production with it. But the thing is we needed a small cart path paver, so we bought a Weiler, and we just got a couple golf courses. So it was one of those things that, like, hey, got to work, let's buy a paver. So that's kind of how we do things.
That's got to be like Christmas for you guys. I mean, you and Zach both own your paving companies. Buying equipment's probably got to be one of the coolest things you can do. Maybe scary at times. I know when Zach jumped into the mills, that was a scary time for us. But
so we're actually going to be buying 2 mills at the end of the year this year. So
are you?
we like use it as a chess game. My brother and I, a lot of businesses don't really tactically go after what they buy. But what we do is we have a tactical plan of how we do things and what we do. But to be honest with you, if we can do it and we can do everything in-house, we're going to do it. So we have these tactical plans where we go out and sell stuff. And we're like, if we sell this, we're going to buy this. And so we have an ROI, because in this business, most people don't look at it like this. Is like, every job you do is a risk. It's a gamble. It's you're investing in something, and then the outcome, depending on how you do the job, is based on what you end up getting out of that. So, a lot of people are like, well, why don't you, go to the casino? Why don't you gamble? It's like, dude, I gamble every single day, every single job. Everything is very methodical in our company. So when we go to a job, it's like I'm throwing down $100,000 on that job, and I don't know if I'm going to win. I could win $5,000, I could win $10,000, I could win $20,000. I could even hit a home run and get $30,000. But the problem is you're taking that risk every time. So there could be some losses, there could be some wins. But the good thing is what we've done the last year and a half is really dissect those things. So we have very, very, very few losses. And it's been a very, very impactful thing. And when you're winning, your team's winning. And when your team's winning, they love what they do, they love what they're doing, and they have that vision, and they go for that journey with the company. So it's been really great.
Yeah, I like how you guys operate with the plan. We've that's been something that's been hard for us, just because we're more like a ready, fire, aim kind of guys. We always joke about that. So slowly we've been learning the game to operate tactically and strategically. We definitely have operated for a while, which I believe has got us there with speed and just pure sheer will. But it's definitely when you can calculate your moves, like you said, playing chess, that's a whole different ball game. So that's cool to hear that. Going into, I know we kind of jumped right into pretty much business, but I think you have a pretty cool story with how much growth you've made personally, which is translated.
I think the biggest thing with me is like, November 17th, I'll go back a little bit. November 17th of 17, I decided to make a decision of quitting drinking. And, people always said that, Ryan, I didn't know you had a problem. And, when somebody's drinking 6, 7 days a week, constant, and they're constantly looking for that next drink, what they're going to do, they got to look deeper inside them because they do have a problem. And I was masking that with working and diving into my career. And really I was, I don't say I was a bad father, but I was losing that way. So what happened was I quit drinking on November 17th of 17, and I went actually on a trip to Nashville with my wife. It was just me and my wife, and I told her, I said, after this trip, I'm not going to drink again. And she's like, yeah, okay. The infamous, okay, yeah, sure, I've heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I say something, I do it. And I think that's the big thing with me is it's like, I never said things before because I wanted to keep that open. I wanted to never like, oh, I'm gonna quit drinking for 90 days, or I'm gonna quit drinking for 75 days when I do 75 hard, or all those things. You quit doing those things for those little those little challenges. But this was something that I was gonna take on for the rest of my life. And so what I did was I quit drinking, and what happened in the transformation was crazy. I was 350 pounds, and I was literally looking at something like I didn't know. I could barely tie my shoe. I could barely bend down without holding my breath. And so I was like, you know what, I got to do something. I'm going to lose my family. I'm going to lose my wife. I'm going to lose my business. I was heavily depressed, and I used that alcohol to mask what I was doing. But then I took the wins from my company because we were running a very successful company. We were doing like $3.5 million a year, maybe a little bit more. Profits were like killer doing maintenance work. And I was winning in all areas of my life except for me personal, and my personal goals, I was putting myself down a path of destruction, and I was seeing it from firsthand. I was like, man, I was seeing other people. I was going to the bar. I was doing work with these guys, and I was meeting them for happy hour. But guess what? I really realized is they were my worst customers. They didn't pay me. They dragged it out forever. Like these guys were in the bar for a reason because they didn't have all the things that I really wanted in my life. And the real thing was I said, you know what, I got to be a father. I grew up without a father, and I didn't want to ruin it. So we started paving in 2018, and that November when I quit in 2018, we decided to get a paver, and we started to jump in. I was working out, twice a day, doing CrossFit, and I was really just pushing the limits of my body. So I ended up dropping right around 100 pounds in about 2.5 years. And I was consistent with it. And, I owed it to the getting away from the people. Because here's the thing. When you're with your friends, okay, and you're having fun, you're going out, what happens when you stop doing that? You lose all your friends. They just disappear. This guy's not fun. He's not having shots. I would go out, to parties and then be like, oh yeah, Ryan, have the shot. I'm like, no, you guys, you don't understand. And so I stopped hanging out with those people, and I really got into a different, circle. And I mean, the TCFs circle is one, hanging out with you guys. I hang out with multiple. I'm in Arate now, so I've got multiple friends in that group. So it's leveling up in the people I hang out with. But I'm telling you, man, my journey has been just up and down. It's been a faith-driven journey. I've really dived into my faith. The last almost 2 years, I started a men's group on Tuesday morning at 5:30 a.m. and that's the most consistent thing I've done for 2 years. It's literally every Tuesday morning we meet, and there's about 10 to 14 men, and we really dive into what we want, and what we're doing. That is to be better fathers, better husbands, and just really dive into our faith, and really just be with the true Father, our Lord, and then I think that's what's helped me through things, because for so many years I was doing things my way. and I was doing things and I was pressing things and I was doing, and I wasn't letting God point me in the right direction. And when I did that, dude, my whole life changed.
100%.
The people around me, my business, we're flourished. I mean, we are on track now. I mean, we've almost sold what we sold last year, which is like, it's unimaginable, because there's people out in the industry right now that are literally had no work. They're dying. They're going from week to week, and it goes to show we're running the play in our company. So, and it helps by Spot on Site, because now it's saving me literally half the time of what I'm doing. I literally do double the bids that I was doing in like literally a fraction of the time. So I owe it all to you guys. So if I wouldn't have met you guys, I wouldn't have been able to level up. So that's how things work in life.
David, be sure to,
man, iron sharpens iron, right?
Be sure to cut that clip. We'll use that one. Maybe. I appreciate that, Ryan. But yeah, iron sharpens iron. I love how you guys do that men's group, and man, there's nothing better than starting your day off in God's word. And I've done that and implemented that in my life since I was living in Oklahoma, so about 3 years. And the first 30 minutes of my day, I essentially tithe my time to him. I'm not perfect about it every day. I've missed it plenty of days, but for the most part, stay consistent. I've noticed it has changed my life tremendously, so that's awesome to hear that. But when you were talking about like your CrossFit days, I've seen a couple of videos of you, man. You were throwing up some weight, big dog. I think front squatting what, 400
so I front squatted 455. I think I think I'm in the 1 percentile on that. But you got to understand is like I had a lot of weight on me, and I bulked up. I was doing a lot of strongman stuff at first, and I really enjoyed bulking up and getting it. But you remember I had that weight on me for many years, so my legs were like really strong carrying that weight. And a lot of people say, like I wasn't the lazy guy. I worked, I did things, but it's in my genes. I grow a very big midsection. It's like I got to be very careful what I do, and so I've done a lot of damage to my body. I mean, especially now. I mean, I'm training for a marathon, and running every single day to train. I have a lot of excess skin right now, and so I feel like I'm doing a boxing match every single time I go out and run, even if I'm taking and I'm getting that, it's not even Spanx, but it's something like Spanx where you have all this gripped in and you run. But to be honest with you, running, I used to tell myself that I could never run, and because of my body and how I acted and how I did things, and I feel like I was lazy about it, and I used to say I can't do this, I can't do that. And so this year I had kind of an epiphany when I was in my quiet time, talking to God. It's like God tells you that you can do anything in life. And I used to tell myself I couldn't do things. And so I was reflecting on that, and God's like, you need to do something that you've never done before. And I say this because it's like things that I don't like, I stay clear away from. But things that are challenging, I stay clear away from. So I wanted to do something that was literally outside the box, something that like everybody that knows me is like, holy crap, Ryan is doing this. There's no way he would ever do this. Those are the things that I wanted to come out and say, you know what? I'm going to do this to prove to myself that I can do anything in life, no matter what. And I think that's a testament of everything, is like making sure that you're doing the things, but when you say you're doing the things, do it. Because that's one thing that I've always done, is like every time I say I'm going to do something, I just do it. And so when I said I'm going to quit drinking, I haven't had a drink since November 17th of 2017. That's pretty impressive, because where I was and the people that were around me, they're like, wow, they couldn't believe it. So every time I see somebody now, it's like, hey, are you still quitting drinking? Yeah, I haven't had a drink since. And they're like, oh my gosh, I never thought that would ever happen. And so like those are little things. So go ahead.
What do you think it is within you that drives that factor in? I mean, there's it's ingrained in some of the high performers that we see. It's part of their it's like a natural quality that some people possess. It's something that like flips at some point for some people. But what is it for you that when you say it, you mean it? Like, what is it that nails that to the ground?
Well, growing up without a dad, I had a dad, but he wasn't around. He's absent. Worked a lot, traveled from state to state. Divorced my mom, and when I was about 4.5 years old. So it was one of those things that like I never had somebody to tell me, do this, do that, do this, do that. So I was self motivated. I was always self motivated, driven. I mean, by the time I was 11 years old, I literally had a business called RNA Lawns, and I was going door to door, literally without a lawnmower, asking for business and getting business so I could go out and buy a lawn. And I mean, those are things that I did as 11, 12 years old. And to be honest with you, I had no other choice. So I feel like trauma, growing up in a not per se an unstable, but my mom was a single mom. She worked 6, 7 days a week. So I saw the hard work in my mom, but I saw no leveling up. No, like it was just get through life. And I told myself that I didn't want to float through life. I wanted to have things. I wanted to be able to be a good dad. I wanted to be it's like, but I didn't know how. So I was looking for things that like, how do you be a dad? Like if I had no dad to do it. So I had a grandfather that was very in my life. He literally he said, Ryan, if you do anything, do it 100%. Because if you do it 100%, you'll never ever fail. And because regardless if you put everything in it, you can. That's a win. That's a win. Because what people don't realize is like if you give 100%, 110%, and something happens, you're still winning because you didn't do it before. And so that's why this race is like so pivotal to me. It's like people say I can't do it. Well, if somebody says I can't do something, I'm going to prove them wrong. And the reason why I'm going to prove them wrong, it's not my ego, or it's me saying like, God told us we can do anything that we put our mind to. Anything that we want to do, we can do. And I keep reverting back to that. It's like God will put things in your life to make sure that you do what you say and say what you do. And then so since I got into the Word the last several years, I need to do what I say and say what I do. And I think that develops bigger leaders, better leaders. All the high performers you're talking about is like when they say they're going to do something, they do it. They're leveling up their leadership roles. They're leveling up because when somebody looks at me, they know if I say something, I'm going to do it. I mean, I've been doing this forever. I mean, in my company, if I tell somebody, I'm going to do it. And I think that's what separates really, really high performers and high achievers is literally doing whatever it takes, go ahead.
I struggle with that, man. I'll be honest. Like that's something I've always struggled with is telling telling my wife or whatever, changes I want to make. And, you hit it hard when you have the high motivation and then you hit, your first little, I guess, resistance, or you're tired one day or whatever. And then, or you have a million other excuses that I can make up for what happens, but I fall off easy. So that's definitely an interesting perspective on how you do it. It's you more have had that ingrained in you for so long, and I think a lot of people kind of learn that. Like I'm trying to figure out what is going to be the trigger for me.
I'm going to tell you something that really gets me in the last 5 years, and it's a really powerful quote, and I don't know who said it, but it's one day in day one, and it's a very simple quote. But I used to be that guy back in the day that says, one day I'm going to be rich. One day I'm going to have a great family. One day I'm going to have this. One day I'm going to have that. And until I started day one, that's when my life changed. So when I decided November 17th of 2017, that was day one for me. What you and what a lot of people need to do in this world is you have it in you, but you have to just start. And you have to compile. And I always call them micro wins. Like when I get up, those little things I do are wins for the day. And I record those. Like I put them on my phone, I put them in my calendar, I put them in my gratitude every single morning. Like those are things that like this morning when I got up at 4:30, I didn't want to go out and run in this 91-degree heat, but I got up, I did it, and guess what happened? I ran 6.1 miles today, the most I've ever ran so far to date. And I felt good about it. It's the wins. It's the highs that you get from those little wins. And it could be just by putting your clothes out before you go to bed and setting them down there, getting your shower and getting up 15 minutes early. That's a win, because now you're getting up, you're consistent, and you're doing the exact same things. So what I tell people like yourself and many other people that want to get on this pattern is you have to do the little things first, and then you can compile the other things. Do little wins, and get that motivation. There's a lot of people that I see out there that they've done something for 1,180 days in a row, or like Ben Newman, he's got this unrequired workout that he's done probably like 1,200 days in a row. He started with day one. And what people don't realize is they don't want to put in the day one. And so a lot of people say, well, one day. Well, guess what? After the holidays, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to lose weight. After the holidays, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to start working out every single day, and I'm going to get a six-pack. Well, guess what happens? After the holidays, it wears off. You have to start, and that is today. And so I really like that quote, and I live by that every single day, because when I think about that, it's like the Ed in my left thing. Just give it one more. If you can give it one more time, one more rep, one more mile, one more minute, that's the key in life.
I agree. You know, Hayden's always so modest. He's actually probably one of the most disciplined people I know. He's like, he's on it. You know, it's inspiring. I think in all of us, you know, it's very intentional. It's intentional focus, because what you're talking about is putting 100% into whatever it is that you are choosing to pour into. You know, our buckets are all different, and so it can be different goals, different things, but whatever it is that you decide fits within your schedule in those buckets, make sure that you're giving them 100%. And you know, I think that alone is enough to make strides in whatever direction, because if you're feeding the bad side, that can be, you know, 100% in the wrong direction as well too. So
Z,
you know,
when was your run? For those of you guys don't know, Zach, I don't know how long ago this was. I think it was right before I met you. You were Mr. Colorado for, you know, fitness, physique, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Colorado. I was Mr. Colorado in 2013, and then I won the Rocky Mountain in 2017. I really enjoyed those times because it was a matter of, I'm a ultra competitive person, and I know, like you said, the only person that's going to beat me is me, and so it was setting aside alcohol, setting aside going out. It was making sure that I hit every single meal that I possibly could, like on time, not skipping meals, not skipping a minute of cardio, not shortcutting anything, because at the end of the day, if I didn't place it all, third, second, whatever, you know, that was due to my negligence of choosing not to do what I should have done, because I knew that I was able and capable of being able to get up there. But, you know, can't shortcut the journey, man. You can't shortcut the process. You got to put the time in.
I think that's that doing one of those competitions is the ultimate one of the ultimate tests of discipline and sheer willpower, because everything that your body seeks comfort naturally, and comfort comes in food, it comes in being lazy, sitting on the couch, skipping a workout. And like, I think that's a great kind of Kickstarter to show yourself, just like 75 hard. The principle is not really to lose weight. It's to show and prove to yourself how disciplined you can actually be. And I'm talking about it because I haven't done it, but I understand the concept of it and why people do it. So
well, it's the mental toughness. I mean, it's the things. I mean, even David Goggins says it, like what if I complete this? Like the question, what if? You know, like I look at this marathon. It's like, what if I could, you know, compete with these people? What if I finish right? Or what if I do this? Like, how am I going to feel? And I put myself in that situation. Like there's no shortcuts. You even said it. You know, Zach, you said a really thing. There's no shortcuts. Like, you can't go through life and just expect shortcuts and get to where you need to be. You can't be a successful business person if you're going to create shortcuts. I was talking about it with Cam Roberts yesterday on the phone. It was so pivotal. Is like we were talking about, like the foundation, like how, like when I started my company for 15 years, I was just go, grow this thing. Well, what I wasn't doing is I wasn't creating the right foundation to build on. So you could have two different people. You could have one person that's building a 10-foot story, building, and then one that's building a 100-foot, story building. And that 10-foot, they're gonna go out of the gates. They're gonna build that thing as quick as possible. But that 100-foot, it's going to take a little bit longer because you have to build that foundation, because that foundation is going to go a lot farther. Now, if that 10-story one wants to even keep going up and go farther, guess what happens? You can't build any more floors on that because you didn't grow the foundation. So for 15 years, I did things my way, did things the wrong way. So, 5.5 years ago, I stepped back and said, you know what? We're going to start growing this foundation, because now we're going in the paving industry. We're going to be hiring different employees. And I said, you know what? We can't shortcut this. We can't. We have to do everything the right way. We have to put the processes in place. We have to, we have to have steady growth. We can't have this catapult growth. Well, the thing is we can have a catapult growth, but we have to realize that, and then we need to level off, and then we need to balance that, and then take another catapult and go up, because you get so overwhelmed. And it's just having the right people in place. But like you said it best, Zach, no shortcuts, man. People think they're going to get rich overnight, and it's just not going to happen. It takes grit. It takes grinding. It takes all the hard work. It takes what you're doing when people aren't watching. It's the many, many hours that, like running at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's going to catapult me to take to this marathon. Like, people still think that I'm not going to do this because of my body stature. I'll tell you right now, my body is changing just in the last 2.5 weeks. It literally is completely changing, because it's doing things consistent. And it's not shortcutting the fact. It's not like streamlining, getting there quick, and then running this and then being unprepared and then crumbling and not being able to do it. It's building the foundation and growing. And I literally have 138 or 136 days left, and I'm making the foundation. So when I get to here, I'm ready for this marathon.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I think you and I, whenever we've connected, and all of us, we've got a lot of core values that are very similar, and so we always have really good conversation. I always appreciate hearing that stuff. You mentioned prior to this episode that a few years ago you lost a majority of your salesmen. You had to restart over. There's other people that are probably listening right now that either don't have salesmen or have lost them to competitors. What did you go back to when that happened? And if you had to restart over again, what would you do? I think I have an idea of how we would kind of structure things ourselves, but I'd be interested to hear what that looks like for you.
So 3 seasons ago, when I was getting the paving, I hired a sales guy, a veteran, a guy that's been in the business for 35 years. And I don't ever hold anything against him. He helped me get to where I am. He was what I needed at the time. He taught me things that I never knew about the paving industry. But what was lacking is the foundation that we were talking about, the good habits, the positivity, the wanting to grow in different angles and perfect things and literally microanalyze everything and get the wins, and not just do things the way you've been doing things for 30-something years. And then I had another sales guy that was one of those car salesman guys that was just like, he seemed like a nice guy, but he really was like he would do really weird things. And I'm like, this isn't my culture. I can't do this. So he was only with our company for like 5 months. And so we were trying to grow the sales team, and I was getting really frustrated. And I met this guy online, and his name's Jeremy. And he owned a CrossFit gym for like 11 years. And I was really intrigued because he was coaching and he was doing health and fitness. And I was on my health journey, and I was just intrigued. I was watching these videos, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to this guy. And that's the power of social media. As I reached out to him, and I met him for almost 6 months straight. On Thursday mornings, we talked about being better fathers, better husbands. Like, we talked about faith, we talked about business, we talked about, the struggles, and we just got really connected. Well, one day I was complaining about, man, I'm losing my fire. Like, every time I hire somebody, the sales guys, it doesn't work out. And, I was telling them how much you can make as a salesperson. And I was telling them, like, it's really simple. We build, the way we do things is we educate our customers. We do the right things. When we educate them, if we didn't educate them enough, we lose the job. So we went to this educational sales tactic, and I was always doing that. And that's why I have repeat customers constantly, is because I've educated them enough to where they know everything about the business. So they don't have somebody come in and try to sell them something different. So what I was doing is I was talking to him, and he was like, hey, everything sounds good. What if I was interested in the job? And I was like, wow. So I started opening my mind, and I said, you know what, you're right. Like, I'm looking for all the wrong things in the wrong places. So I started diving back and saying, dude, why don't I want people that are my friends? Why don't I want people that I love, like, and trust as a part of my company? So I started reevaluating things and really just trying to say, you know what, I'm going to start going after people I don't think I can get, because that's where I want my company to go. I want my company to go to where people are literally genuinely family people, faith-driven people that come into the company and they want to do something bigger than themselves. Not just sell a bunch of work and be like, hey, look at me, I'm the best salesperson in the world. Is growing life with people and really just diving in and making sure that they're a part of the team. They're a family-driven person. Because here's the thing. Now I hire only people that are family-driven and people that are family first. And the reason why I say that is because we're a family-first company. So when I did this, and I'm going to tell you this is the most powerful thing, is when I started thinking that people were able to come to my company and I wasn't ashamed of who the company or what the company was doing, because I was proud of the company, but I was in this mindset, and we talk about mindset, is I was in this mindset of like, well, maybe I'm not good enough for them. And so I had this doubt. And so once I went over that doubt is when my whole company changed. I hired Jeremy. He drove around with me for literally 7 to 8 weeks and learned everything that I knew. We trained him so detailed the way we wanted him to train, because he was a great person, great individual, great father, great husband, just all around great dude, would do anything for anybody. That's the people we wanted in our company. So then I started praying, and I said, God, this is what, keep putting these people into my life. And then I'm on a job, I'm doing a sub job for one of my competitors. We're actually paving for them because they were so busy. They wanted us to come and pave for them. And one of the sales guys was out. And I don't go out on the jobs very often. I might go out 3 jobs a year. And the reason why is because it's hard for me to go on the jobs because I'm the owner. And so if I go on the jobs, I'm bringing food, I'm bringing drinks, I'm bringing all that kind of stuff. I don't want to go and look at, how the guys are working. I want to go in and I want to be that guy that brings everything. I have superintendents and project managers who do all that stuff. But I wanted to go out and just see how we were doing, because we were doing a customer that we've been doing work for. We started seal coating with this company, and we were doing multiple seal coatings. I think we were doing like $500,000-$600,000 worth of seal coat with this company, and then we stopped seal coating, and then now they're asking us to pave. Well, I'm on the job, and he comes up to me and he goes, hey, Ryan, I just want to let you know that I am so impressed. I've been following your journey the last 5 years, and can we sit down and talk? And I'm like, sure, why not? So we sat down and talked, and on a Saturday or Sunday, and I said, you know what, he was struggling. He was struggling. He wasn't seeing his kids. He wasn't seeing his family, and he was working all these hours. He was expected to do all these things, and it just wasn't a family piece. It wasn't like a culture fit. And he's like, Ryan, I really like what you guys are doing. He's like, I feel like it's all a family. And I said, you know what, our company is family first. We don't work a lot of weekends because it's so important. And so we talked, we worked out, negotiated, and he came on board. He was the senior vice president for the sales of that company, and he sold $14 million. Okay, so meanwhile, he comes to work for me, and this is the most pivotal part of the story, is he comes to work for me. The first 2 weeks, he's at home playing with his son, And his son, you know, I get a little emotional about this because his son came up to him and he's like, hey, daddy, can you tell your boss something? He goes, can you tell him that thank you for my new daddy? And I took that as like, that's the biggest compliment a leader and an owner of a company can get, is because that solidifies where the direction of where we're going. Because it's family first. It's about the people. It's about listening. It's about educating and training people that might not have ever had that ever, and training them up to be something that they've never thought they could be. Mm-hmm. You know, I think the biggest thing that I love doing in my company is watching people, you know, level up, get houses for the first time, move out of trailer parks that's all they thought and that's all they've known. They literally have been there since a little kid, and literally getting out of that atmosphere and then now creating a different atmosphere for their children. Because when you get stuck in a situation, that's what you do. You don't know what you don't know, I always say. Like if you're doing things, you just don't know if there's something bigger and better out there. Yep. So I'm trying to grow the vision to my staff. And I think that's when my company changed. And the sales staff is, now we have a sales staff of 4 people in just 2 years. And we have sold almost what we sold last year. And so like, it's so exciting to see the growth of people. It's so exciting to see people win. It's exciting for me to be able to, at the end of the year, write some of these guys checks for bonuses that they have never seen that kind of money in one check in their life. And that's what drives me. That's what drives me as an owner, and leveling up these people and making sure that they win, because I know that if they're a part of our family, it's not about the dollar down the street. It's not about $2 down the street. It's not about $3. It's not about $10. It's about the atmosphere and the culture within your company that basically catapults you to grow. And then all of a sudden other people are like, what's going on with BSI Paving? There's a lot of buzz out there. What's going on? I'm telling you right now, if you, like the Callaways are coming to visit on Monday, they're going to walk in my business, and this is not me boasting. They're going to walk in my business and they're going to notice something different. And the difference is the culture. As soon as you walk into the company, it's so educational and family oriented and friendly that there's no attitudes. There's no, who is this person? Who's that? Like most companies, when you go in, it's kind of like this stale thing. Like they just need just fireworks inside of them, and they just need to do something different. So what I say is when people come to my company, get ready for a ride, because not only am I going to hold you accountable to get better, I'm going to change your life.
Yeah. What do you, as a owner of the company, it sounds like you really invest heavily in your employees, personal growth. Like you said, you want to show people who have been in certain situations or upbringings that there is a new side to everything. What do you do? Is it like weekly meetings or monthly meetings? What tactics do you use to help show them this and to create and cultivate this culture?
So I help leaders in my company grow. And when you have good leaders, they can help the people underneath them. And so instead of being that one person that does everything, I have leaders in my company now that are helping me do this. So it's not all on my shoulders. But I'll tell you right now, what goes a long way is walking up to somebody and saying, hey, the foreman told me you're really doing a great job. Keep it up. You're going to go far in this company. That is the simple most line. Now, if it's bullshit, don't say it. But I'm telling you right now, if it's something that the guy is doing, you have to let them know. Because when it's coming from a leader, the top leader, that they're telling you about this guy, that means that person now is really committed to doing what he's got to do to level up in the company. And then when they have guys not saying, well, I'm not going to teach you because if I teach you, you might take my job. No, everything's an open book in our company. We train. We show everybody every secret. Like there's no secret that we don't tell. So I think that when you do things, it's not just the leader going and patting people on the back. It's not just doing this, because that doesn't work. It's growing leaders within your company to level up the rest of the employees and you can watch it happen, and you can tweak things because you're working from a 30,000 feet. When you're looking down at 30,000 feet, and you're not inside your business, so you're not missing all the little things. I mean, just for instance, the other day, somebody emptied the trash, and it was like 5 o'clock, and they were supposed to be gone at 4:45. That is a culture. Like, most people will look at the garbage and just walk by because they're already late from leaving. But no, it's the culture that they went over there, they emptied the trash, they took it, their time, they took it to the dumpster, dumped it in, and then they punched out. That's the culture we're building here at BSI. It's not the I mentality, it's the team atmosphere, it's the we, it's winning together, it's the journey. Because when you paint this journey and this vision, they want to be a part of it. It's not about the money. It's about going to work every single day and enjoying everything you do. And to be honest, you guys know, paving is hard. Paving sucks some days. But guess what? Those sucky days, all the good days in between, help you get through those sucky days, because it's not a big deal, because the job is easy if you're having fun. And these guys have fun every single day.
Awesome, man.
That's a lot. I mean, yeah, it's taken us a lot of time, heartache, and going through a lot of people to get to where we're at now. I would say, something that's cool for us is, our barber every once in a while will come and cut us all up and give us haircuts. And what he says, I remember one day I went to his shop. It was kind of the week after he came into ours, and he's like, dude, something about you guys' team is awesome, man. He goes, I can definitely see a difference. Or, we had a hard kind of start, or I think it was a hard start or hard end to last year. And we had a team meeting, and, Zach's saying, hey, it's tough right now. We're going to make a lot of changes. We're going to keep going. And our foreman, who doesn't even want to share stories about himself or anything, like during story time, he doesn't talk. He's like, we got you, boss. We're with you. And so feeling that stuff builds and brings an energy together, and it's a team. Like the saying is, if you want to go far, go together. And just,
go fast, you go alone.
Yeah, go fast, go alone. Yep. So It takes time. It takes a lot of people to go through, but once you find it, it's pretty special. Zach, for you, what have you noticed and felt like in the culture in the past, the change in the past couple of years compared to early on?
I would agree with Ryan. It's a lot of team. It's unselfishness. It's pouring back into others, and then not just preaching it, but showing it to whatever degree. There's been so many times where I've heard, hey, this person's moving. They're on a crew and they're in the process of moving. I'm like, hey, look, give them money, get them movers, not because of from our selfish standpoint, but because they're already going through enough. So pay for them to get movers. It's the little things like that show people that it's not just a money thing. It's you actually care about their well-being, their sanity, what home looks like. And, I genuinely know, I think those are the things that God pours back into us for too. So the more little things you do like that out of unselfishness, you see wins in different areas. And I think it's a way of, it's just a universal thing. People could say it's one thing or another. For me, it's a God thing. And I just think, the more you put into that, the faster you're going to see change within people. It's people change people.
Yeah, no, that's well said. Go ahead, Ryan.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I think too. Like when you start elevating people in your company, they're always going to remember that. I think that a guy came and worked for us. He's from another company, and he really loves the asphalt industry. and he just got custody of his daughters on the weekends. And he was looking for a job and in the paving world, and he kept getting dead ends because the paving world, they're like, dude, we're working Saturdays and Sundays, dude. I'm sorry, but tough crap. You can't see your daughter, blah blah blah. And so when he called me, I said, dude, I would never make you work a weekend ever. I said, your kid is the most important thing. I said, we can work with that. And he looked at me he's like, are you serious? Dude, I interviewed this guy 3 different times. He came to work for us. Dude, he is a ball of joy. He came to the crew. The crew loves him. The crew is he is so positive, and he loves his life, and he loves his kid, and he's a family person. And that's what life's about, is getting somebody like that and really just growing. He's been in the industry 5 years, and he loves it so much. He was literally going to quit it because he couldn't do it because of his daughter. And I'm like, so when I got this guy, he's a gem, dude. He literally, the people on the crew are like, this is the best fit for our crew. And it's because he's positive, he's driven, and he's family atmosphere. So in the years past, I would always just say, I'm going to hire the best. I'm going to hire the talented people. Well, the talented people maybe aren't the best people to do it because they might have bad habits. Like I was telling you about the old sales guy, is we need to hire people, and we need to train them, and we need to hire people that are going to be servant leaders. We're servant leaders in our company. We now understand that it's not about us. It's about serving others. It's about serving our customers. It's about serving people that come into the company new. We have a laborer that came into our company this year, and he lost his dad about 2 months ago. He lost his dad to alcohol, and I had one of the guys that I know, the principal of one of our local high school or one of our local schools, came up to me and goes, Ryan, I need a mentor for this kid. He's like, I need a mentor for this kid because I don't want him going down the wrong path. And I know that your company will make sure that he grows. And I talked to the guys yesterday about how he's doing, and he's doing amazing. He's learning everything. He wants to learn. He told my staff, he goes, I'm making more money than my dad. He's like, I love the money. And I said, listen, I go back to him and tell him it's not about the money, because this is something special. Show him and train him why this company is so important. Because if he doesn't stay here and he goes somewhere else, he might lose that because he's always money driven now. So we're trying to educate our people that it's not always about money. And so now he's making so much money that he's never made before. So now he's got a taste of it. But we got to dial that back, and we got to educate him on how to be the best he can be. And so that's what we do in our company, because we can notice that. If I'm looking for 30,000 feet, I can notice all those things, and still be able to tell my leaders, this is what we need to do with these people, is really just educate them on the process and let them know, you've been in other companies for 10 or 15 years. Tell him that this is the place to be. And then if he wants to level up and go somewhere else, hey, we will be there to support him 100%. Because I never want to hold people back. I'll tell you right now, though, if you want to come back to my company, make sure you go out good, because I will always have somebody back. But if you go out in a blaze of glory, it doesn't matter.
Well, I don't know if you call it glory.
Yeah, it blazed the glory for me, because it's glory that I never have to deal with them again, because I found out.
Yeah.
How many bad seeds have you had that left your company, and you're like, man, I'm so glad that guy's gone.
Yeah, all the time. Usually they weed themselves out because they can't hang with the high level of what we're trying to push. It pushes the people out that you don't need around. So
this quote is perfect for this. It's an end my life quote. Be so positive that negative people don't want to hang out with you. That's our culture.
That's awesome. Bring smiles inside BSI.
Yeah,
I like it. I like that.
Hey,
I like that.
He's so good with that.
Dude,
stuff.
Look at that. You better put that. That's a plug right there, dude. I like that.
I'll give it to you, man. I'll give it to you. You can use that at the next meeting. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's
Just give me
great.
a little shout out. Oh,
I like
man,
that.
this has been awesome, though, Ryan. I think we could honestly sit here for another 2 hours. And, I mean, your stories are very impactful of what you're actually doing. I got a lot of takeaways that I know I can implement in my business, and I'm sure Zach as well. And guys, if you're not focused on culture, and culture is such a weird thing because it's not an immediate return. It's not like going and doing jobs and you make 30% and then you go to the next job. It takes time. It's a process. It's not sexy. It's not fun to talk about, but it really makes a difference in the long run of what you guys are doing. So,
I agree. Ryan's got so much knowledge. He's an incredible guy. Ryan, how can people follow you? How can people get in touch with you?
So we've got a lot of media stuff going on right now for BSI Paving. So you can follow us at BSI Paving on all platforms. But also you can follow me on Instagram at Real Ryan Austin. I always love when people follow because I educate. I'm constantly educating on there. I'm constantly telling my journey. I'm constantly telling things. So I always tell a lot of people that I made millions and millions of dollars with mistakes, and I'm not proud of it. But if I can help you not make the same mistakes, I tell this to everybody, is like, just reach out to me, DM me. I mean, we can get on it, we can jump on a call, because I know that people mentored me and poured into me, and I will never say no to somebody when it comes to educating and growing their company, because one word or one sentence can change the directory of that person. Mm-hmm. And so, I have a podcast called The Power of Helping People that we just started back up, which is exciting because I took a little hiatus because I didn't have any salespeople. So I had to sell everything from, for the company, me and Jeremy. So it's like, it was a lot of time, a lot of struggle, but you know what? When you put in the time and you put in the work, look what happens.
Yep.
So,
love it. Well, thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you spending your morning with us. I'm glad we were able to talk with you on your milestone day of hitting your 6-mile run. I can tell you woke up on the right side of the bed and you're ready to roll today.
Well, you know what? I just want to tell you guys, I appreciate you guys. I always look up to you guys. I always follow you. You guys have helped me grow my business too, and you guys don't even know it. Even with the spot on site, meeting, talking, I take a lot away from everything that when I have a conversation with people, and it's the little things that I take away that impact me the most. And I always tell this to high achievers: never, ever, ever not listen to somebody beneath you, because I learned more from other people at $1, $2 million, $3 million companies than I ever will from $1 billion company. And so I want you guys to realize that is never, ever think you're too good to get information from people, because I'm telling you right now, that's the thing I love doing, is I love hearing things from little companies because they're so energetic, they've got so much drive, and it's like reminds me, and it really motivates me to be where I'm at today. So
love it.
Awesome.
Love it. That's perfect to end on, man. So
Yep.
Well, this was episode 25 of the Apps and Asphalt podcast with Ryan Austin, president of BSI Paving. Bring smiles inside. Thanks, guys.